Let's talk 1920s clothing. So the 1920s is a mega interesting time in terms of fashion in the Western world because in 1918 World War I had just ended. Throughout the war, many women had been drafted into the workforce whilst their male counterparts were on the battlefield, and in part because of this, women had gained a kind of sense of independence. In the UK, we might think of the suffragette movement, whilst in the US, we might think of the 1916 Women's Party. The woman of the 1920s distinguishes herself from the Victorian women of her mother's generation, and one of the easiest and most physical ways that we see this manifest is through clothing. As we see it, the voluptuous hourglass silhouette of the Victorian era was turned over in favour for a more boyish and rectangular silhouette, as popularised in the designs of Coco Chanel and Schiaparelli. In terms of underwear, the corsets of the Victorian era were tossed aside and replaced with bandeaus and girdles, which actually aimed to squish down the bum and boob area. Va-va-voom was injected more through the hemlines rising towards the knee, which doesn't sound so scandalous to today's audience, but it definitely was at the time. It was also quite typical for women to have their entire décolletage or their entire back out if they were going out in the evening. The cosmetics industry also saw a boom as women wore raccoonish eye kind of makeup and drew on their perfect Cupid's bow. The mouth was supposed to look like very small, and you were supposed to have the expression that you'd been out all night, and the whole thing was just so entirely boring.
So I don't know why at that point I stopped filming, but I seem to have got bored and just stopped. But I hope that you found that vaguely useful. I don't know if it's really that useful because I have no formal training in doing anything fashion history related. It's just out of my own interest and research. So if you do like it, let me know.